John is a House of Delegates member in Virginia and also a state Senate candidate. He's going to be hanging with us in a district with really no opposition, so he's going to win. John, the stakes in Virginia are high. Outline them for us.
Well, I'd say everything we care about is at stake in just 13 days. You know, we talk about life, the sanctity of life. I mean, last year, everything we tried to do to protect life in Virginia was stopped. We talk about our Second Amendment. When I talk about the Second Amendment, I think about what happened in Israel. Do you know it's very difficult to have a gun in Israel? And Hamas just came in there with paragliders and everything else and mowed down 260 young people without any concern for their own safety. And the one thing that keeps us a great country, keeps us free, is our Second Amendment. But everything we try to do, you talk about business people, right to work. I mean, all of that stuff is on the line. And election integrity. You know, I put in a bill to ban drop boxes in Virginia and made it through the House. Got to the Democrat-controlled Senate, and it didn't get done. And while knocking doors around the district, I hear people frustrated because Republicans aren't doing this or aren't doing that. Well, we're not going to get anything done unless in 13 days we can come together and get 10 people to vote and get back a majority in the Senate so that we can un-California Virginia, get rid of the communists.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing what people don't realize is the communist takeover of the Democrat Party is probably more manifested in Virginia than anywhere. I mean, for instance, for the people that don't know, there were three moderate Democrats in the state Senate. Joe Morrissey, Chap Peterson, and Lionel Sproul. And they basically were pro-pipeline, pro-business guys. I mean, they voted with the Democrats, but they were pro-business and they were moderates. You could talk to them. They wanted to open up schools, right? Chap Peterson fought for that. They all got knocked off in primaries by radical left-wing crazy whack jobs that are communist. And two of them were not even close. So it's like the party is being hijacked by the communists, and that's why if you don't win, you will get nothing done.
You know, you're absolutely right about that. You know, under one-party Democrat rule, they looked like the Democrats in the state Senate. Well, I shouldn't say the Democrats, but the state Senate was the adults in the room. They actually stopped some of the really extreme stuff. But this pool of candidates coming in 13 days, if we don't win, are the most radical state Senate Democrat candidates we've had in history. So we've got a lot at stake. We got to all come together and, you know, text your friends, call them, bug them to death, but let's get everybody to vote.
And vote early. You know, you mentioned, John, it's very hard to have a gun in Israel, and that's why those people there were sitting ducks because they couldn't protect themselves. That's what we want to stop. Guys, I want to get to cut number 2 here. Here's Lee Zeldin. This is about a 2.5-minute clip, but it's worthy. This is Lee Zeldin saying that the Jewish Democrats who have defended AOC, Tlaib, and Omar find out the truth about what is going on after this Hamas attack. Cut to Lee Zeldin.
Been building for a while on these college campuses. Students for Justice of Palestine were funding these efforts that might appear organic, but they weren't. They've infiltrated administration, faculty, student body. You bust your butt during school to get the grades and the extracurriculars to get accepted into Harvard University. And you pay all of that money to have, you know, Bill de Blasio and Lori Lightfoot teaching you in class.
Yeah.
Maybe you should save your money and pursue some of these other places of higher education where there's a core moral compass that guides the university, that guides the curriculum, that guides the faculty. I'm Jewish. I went through kindergarten through 12th grade. I went through college, law school, 4 years of active duty in the military. I never experienced anti-Semitism. And what we've seen over the last few years, it's probably thousands of times over social media that I've been called, you know, a Nazi or Nazi sympathizer over the course of the last few years. My daughters are a little bit older, Jim. They're 17. They're seniors. Their applications are now going in. And I want them to be able to have an experience where they are encouraged to think independently, to be Jewish, or you could go there and be whatever faith you want to be, whatever background, whatever ethnicity you want to be. But right now it's creating an environment where people feel threatened to go from their dorm to their classroom. People who are talking like Hamas terrorists, they're dressing like Hamas terrorists, and they're threatening violence. So I think we all need to speak up, and that includes the left, because there have been a lot of Jewish Democrats who have defended AOC and Tlaib and Omar, and now you see that these people who you were defending weren't going to be there for you when October 7th rolls around in Israel.
Yep. You know,
You know, John McGuire with us, running for State Senate, Virginia, current House of Delegates member, Republican in the Central Virginia area. You know, John, you mentioned at the top when you came on about it's so hard for residents of Israel to get a gun, and they were basically sitting ducks in this attack. And shouldn't that be a wake-up call for us?
It should be a wake-up call. You know, for Navy SEAL Special Operations Forces, they call us the tip of the spear for American foreign policy overseas. I served as a Navy SEAL with the IDF, and they treat us like family, like brothers, and my heart just goes out to them. They absolutely have a right to defend themselves, and, you know, it says in our Navy SEAL creed that we use our strength to protect those that don't have the strength to protect themselves. We can't stand a bully, and we can't stand evil, and we've got to stand for something or fall for anything. And so we've got to stand strong on our Second Amendment right. I believe that with this open borders and this fentanyl, all this stuff coming across, that these guys have cells all over our country. But the thing is, if they come in here right now, I think a few of us are going to take care of them, but we shouldn't have that problem.
So how dangerous is this? Because we don't really know if there's 2 cells, 200 cells, or 2,000 cells. We don't really know who's here. We can't track them. We know that we're paying them to come over. We're giving them $3,800 cash, luxury hotel rooms, phone, internet, apps, whatever they need. They all get it for free, health care. Many of these come over, military-age men. I mean, if there's coordinated attacks, what do you see happening? I got about 2 minutes, John.
Well, I'd say there's a war on common sense. And if you had a list of things you would do if you wanted to destroy our country, I don't call them Democrats, I call them communists. They're following that list. Open borders, defund the police, take away your right to protect yourself, make you a helpless victim. What we've got to do is I'd ask everybody to buy some ammo and buy a gun. And if you see something, say something, do something. We live in a great country. I do still believe that our better days are ahead of us. But I know one thing, it's good versus evil, and God is going to get the last word.
You know, when the communists talk about guns and they want to take them away or they want to restrict them, they say, well, you don't need, a high-powered weapon to shoot a squirrel. But that's really never what the Second Amendment was about. What it is really about is what we're facing right now, terrorist threats in our family right now, what happened to Israel 10 days ago, right, with all those young people being gunned down point blank as they came out of the exit, just in cold blood, having guns. That's the reason the founders enshrined it in the Bill of Rights, in the Constitution, as a Second Amendment. Not to shoot a possum, but to protect yourself, John. I got about a minute.
Sure. I put in a bill a couple of years ago. I got letters from all 50 states. It's called sovereign immunity. It says if you get shot in a gun-free zone, you can sue the government because there's no such thing as a gun-free zone. Take it away.
Makes sense.
It's a great best. People say it was the best gun bill they've ever heard in their life because they're trying to make you a helpless victim when they take away your gun. None of us want to be helpless when they come by, and they do have these cells. Arm yourselves. If you look at Chicago, where they have the strictest gun laws in the country, they have the most gun deaths every year. It's our God-given right to protect ourselves, our family, and our children.
We're going to be back with another segment with John McGuire. We're here at Siobhan Dunavant campaign headquarters in Glen Allen, Virginia. This is going to be the scene. We're going to be here. Also, our election night coverage will be right here. Plenty of room. Can't wait for that. Hopefully the Republicans are going to take the Senate and hold the House, but we're going to give you wall-to-wall coverage. Keep it right here.